Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm greeting you according to your time and location. Depends on when you are seeing this video. Okay, my name is Nancy Abela. On this channel, I film about faith, relationship, and lifestyle. I film about every other good content, every other awesome content that will interest us. Okay. If you're new here, hey, hi, thanks for tuning in, thanks for coming around, thanks for discovering us. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always encouraging me. Thank you for always coming back to watch my videos. I do not take it for granted. Thank you so much. All right. So today, I'll be talking about something that we are used to, something that we can relate to. I always talk about things that we can relate to. Okay. So guys, without further ado, just as you can tell from the title, without further ado, let's jump right into the video. It is really very interesting and funny how sometimes we as humans, we are living or will be living in our answered prayers, but we will not realize it. Sometimes there are some things that you've prayed about, you've hoped for, you have wished for, you have sat down, prayed, fasted for those things, and then when they start coming, you no longer realize it. It no longer appears to you again as though you prayed for it. You see it as things that you deserve, like you see it as you deserve it. So you're no longer grateful for it. And most times what it happens like that is that when you pray for something, sorry, this video is going to be everywhere, it's going to be all over the place, but at the end of the day, I just hope we get the catch. Okay, just stick around, stick with me so that we'll get the jack together, we'll get the message together. All right. So I was saying, sometimes you pray for things, you pray for some certain things, you pray for so many things, and then when they start coming, you won't realize it again. You're presently living in your answered prayer, but you're not realizing it. Probably because before those things start happening in your life, you already set another goal, another higher goal. So when those ones are happening, you see them as, minor things, forgetting that you have prayed. There were days you prayed for that particular thing. There were days you fasted for it. There were days, you sought the face of God for those things. But when it happens, we fail to realize that, okay, this is God doing these things for us. We feel it is by our own willpower or by our own strength. The Bible says, by strength shall no man prevail. But most times we take the glory to ourselves. We take the glory and then we refuse to give the glory back to God. Now take for example, there were days you prayed to get admission, as small as admission, getting admission to the university. There were days you prayed to, there were days personally I prayed, because the kind of course I did, there's a certain stage you get to, you'll be required to go for what we call FPT, field practical training, and all that. So if you're not qualified for that particular thing, it means you're going to probate, you're going to repeat that particular level. So we were all praying, fasting, and wishing to cross over to be qualified for that particular trip. Eventually God did it. I qualified for it. Now when people are asking you, how far are you going for FPT? You say, yes, now I'm going now. I'm not probating, I'm not reciting class, I'm not repeating any class and all that. You have forgotten that this is God. You feel like, because you read, because you went for night class. Me, that I didn't even go for night class, not true. I think I went to night class like twice or thereabout. You felt because you went to night class, you read, you studied, you jacked. That's why you were qualified for that particular trip and all that, forgetting that, okay, God did these things for you. There were days you prayed to graduate successfully. There were days you prayed to get a job. Then when you now get the job, it will not look as if, this job is very small. You have forgotten that there were days you told God, even if it is very small, no matter how small it is, I just want to get a job. And then when you get the job, you take all the glory to yourself. Personally, I'm going to be using myself as an example, as a case in point, a lot in this particular video. I remember then when I graduated, when I graduated from the university, I traveled from Edo State, from Benin, to Abuja to seek greener pasture, like every other person will. I remember when I was going, everything I took along, everything fitted into a particular travel bag, one particular travel bag. My clothes, my shoes, my everything that I needed, my synthetic with one as at the time, my bags, everything. It was in one particular travel bag, and then I had one handbag there. And then I traveled. I got to Abuja. Yes, we were seeking for job. I got a contract job at some point. Then later on, the contract ended, and it was as if I was jobless for like a whole year. I kid you not. I was jobless for a whole year. And then at that time, the only prayer I was praying, I wasn't even praying for a very good and mighty job. My prayer was just, God, let me just get busy. Like, let me just be leaving the house. Let me see something that will be taking me out of the house in the morning, and then bringing me back in the evening. Like, I would dress up in the morning. I know I'm going somewhere. Not like me, I don't know how to just dress up and start walking up and down, going to visit people and all that. But I just wanted to get something doing. Let it just be that I'm doing something, even though they are paying me very ridiculous salary. I don't mind. But let me just get busy. Okay, after some time, the project started coming back again, and again we'll do it. You know, it was phase by phase and all that. I may not go in details into that. So after some time, I got a job. Like, I got a job. I don't know how to explain that now. I got a normal job. Not like the one I was doing before was not normal. The ones I was doing before, they were normal. Like, they were paying us. They were paying us good. So this time around, I got a stable job. Okay, let me use that word. A stable job. A job that I resume every morning and close every evening. Now, this time around, I got extremely busy that I had no time for myself anymore. I don't have time to do any other thing. If you invite me for any function, I'm not coming. I'm not even the type that goes for any function. So I don't even have time for anything. I go to work from Monday till Friday. Sometimes I might have to go on Saturdays to check what's happening around here and all that. Sometimes when I want to complain and be like, my boss is not even giving me time. My boss is not. Sometimes she will call me on a Saturday and tell me, where are you? I need you to do something. I need you to do something for me and all that. When I want to complain and say, oh, I'm getting busy, I don't have time for myself again, and anytime I want to complain, I remember something in me will remind me that, remember you prayed this prayer. You prayed this particular prayer. You told God that you want to get busy, and God made you to be busy. Like, I was extremely busy. God answered that particular prayer. God answered me. There were little things that you prayed for, and it came to pass, but you are not seeing it because you have this entitlement mentality. You have given God, you want God to work with your time. You want God to work with your pattern. You want God to work it your own way. So if it's not working your own way, you feel God is not answering your prayers. You look at the internet, you look at people that you graduated with together, you look at, people posting on the internet, and you be like, these people, they've left me. You feel like you have been left behind. You feel like time is against you. You feel like nature is against you. You feel like the whole world is crashing on you and all of that. And then you are praying for a particular thing. God eventually answers you. But because you are using other people's timetable to, live your life, you now feel, this is not what I deserve. I think I deserve better. I think I deserve more. Failing to appreciate God for the ones He has done for you before. That particular stage. Now, look at it. No matter the stage you are in life, no matter how ridiculous that stage is, trust me, that was your prayer point some time ago. You might not have millions in your account. You might not have cars parked in your compound. You might not even have your own personal house. You might not be living in your own personal rented apartment or so. You might be squatting with somebody. But there were days you prayed to God to say, I wish I can just leave this point A to this point B, even if it takes me to be squatting with people, and then God do not answer your prayer. The only thing you're remembering in your head is that, oh, by now I'm supposed to have my own house. But you prayed this particular prayer, and then God is taking you through steps. But because you want God to work with your own timetable, you're not looking at it like, oh, God is delaying you. I always say, don't allow the internet, don't allow peer pressure, don't allow friends and, people around you to make you feel that God is wicked. God is not wicked. God has the manual of your life. Just like every other producers, they have manuals for their products. God has the manual of your life. He is the master planner. So if that thing is not happening at that point, just take it as, oh, God is taking me through a process. It's not a time for you to start lamenting. It's not a time for you to start complaining. It's not a time for you to forget the prayers you prayed, the things you asked God for. There were days you prayed to God to just, be able to feed yourself 3 square meal in a day. God, if I can feed myself 3 times in a day, I'll be very grateful. And then it came to pass. But because you are looking at the fact that you have not arrived yet, you have not gotten this thing yet, you are fixing your eyes on the bigger picture. So because of that, you have forgotten to appreciate God for the little things, the ones that He is doing for you. I think as Christians, we should sometimes pause. I think this thing, it happens sometimes amongst Christians, core Christians. The heart of gratitude is what God is looking out for. If you are grateful for the little God has done for you, that will make God to do more for you. Just take, for example, your earthly child, your child. You did something for somebody or for your child, and then the child collects it and, he or she doesn't say thank you, mommy, or thank you, daddy, and then walks away. To you, as a human, you will feel slighted somehow. It is natural. When you do things for people and you are thanking them and be like, oh, thank you so much for what you have done for me or what you did for me. And they're telling you, oh, it's okay, don't mention. Trust me, deep down in their heart, they want it. Everybody likes appreciation. We all do. Even if we tell you, oh, don't mention, we want it. If you don't mention it, we'll tag you as ungrateful. Trust me. We'll say you're ungrateful. So you have to mention. If your earthly father or your earthly child appreciates you for what you did, even though it is their right, like it's their right that you should do this, you should provide for them and all that, and then they show appreciation, trust me, you will be moved to want to do more for that particular child. How much more our earthly father? God is doing something for you. Instead of you to be appreciative, instead of you to show gratitude to God, you are now complaining. You are being arrogant. You are telling God that He's not doing enough. You are complaining, and He will just be there. You will just be there. So all I'm saying is sometimes remember that the position you are right now, your current situation, your current position, no matter how unpleasant it might want to see, or you might want to see it, you might want to view it, remember it was once your prayer point. It was something you actually prayed for. God, if you can move me from it. God, if I can just have 2 pairs of trousers. God, if I can just, when those things happen, you will forget. Because you are looking at somebody that has loads of trousers, and then you are using that person to compare yourself, forgetting that you prayed. You prayed. God answered you. He answered that particular prayer point. But you fail to realize that, oh, God has answered me this particular prayer point. Let me even appreciate Him first before I start making requests for another one. I remember, when I mentioned earlier, when I was traveling to Abuja, I had one travel bag that took all my things. When I was leaving school, I didn't pick anything apart from my personal belongings. I left my room, everything, for my younger brother, and then I picked my personal belongings. Not all, I just picked few things that I needed, and then I traveled. Funny enough, none of those clothes that I traveled with came back with me because I gave out everything. Now, when it was time for me to move, when it was time for me to get married and leave my house, and move, Remember, I went to Abuja with a travel bag. But when it was time for me to, there were days that, I look at people. In fact, I told you guys this is going to be all over the place. Just stay with me. You will get what I'm trying to say. There were days that I look at people and I'm like, I wish I can have this thing. I visit people's houses and be like, oh, I wish I can be this. I wish I can be that. I wish I can, But those things happen. They came to pass. Oftentimes, we fail to realize them. I visit my friends' houses and then I'll be like, when will I start living on my own? Still there in Abuja, when will I start living on my own? Because then I was living with my big cousin. I was very comfortable. I won't lie. I was very, very comfortable. My big cousin and his family. I was living with them. So, for the most time, I think I stayed with my big cousin for a long time before I moved to my place, my own personal rented apartment. Not my personal building, my rented apartment. So, when I visit my friends who stays alone, sometimes I'll be like, God, I wish I can just be staying alone. At some point, staying on my own and be responsible for myself was a prayer point in Abuja. Trust me. It was a prayer point in Abuja. I want to be responsible for everything. I want to be responsible for my feeding, my upkeep, my everything. It was a prayer point. Did it happen? Yes, of course it did before I finally, moved. But at some point, I initially did not realize that, this was a prayer point. I remember sometimes when I go out, my big cousin, it's there for me to call him my uncle anyways, because our age difference is very, very massive. So referring to him as my cousin is something else. I prefer to call him my uncle. So when you hear me say uncle, just know who I'm talking about. Okay, so sometimes when we go out together, family outing, maybe we'll go to City Plaza, to anywhere, and then it's family outing now, so you don't have the luxury of time to start moving around, going to see places on your own and all that. You have to move with family and all that. So sometimes I'll be like, when will I even come to this place alone on my own, and then explore the environment, look at the place, take note of, just on my own. I'm here. I know that, okay, I live when I want to live. I go to anywhere I want to go to, pending when I'm ready to leave this place. So, at some point, that was a prayer point. It was really a prayer point. Did it happen? Yes. I told you guys I got a job. So, my boss sent me everywhere in town. That's how I even got to know a lot of places inside town, in the heart of Abuja. She sends me to different places. Sometimes when she sends me to a particular place, I'll be like, this was the place that I prayed, I wish to go to alone. I'll quickly go. When I get there, I'll take a look. I had the luxury of time. I will go around the place. I'll check, take a look at the things around and be like, okay, I'm here alone. I was enjoying the outing and everything. That was as little as that. It was a prayer point at some point in my life. At some level in my life, that was a prayer point. But when that thing came to manifestation, when it came to reality, I might not have realized that, okay, this is God answering my prayer. This is an answered prayer. Sometimes it's easier for you to forget that, okay, this is God answering your prayer. I'm saying this so that you realize some little things, that God has done for us. Now, when it was time for me to leave my own rented apartment, when I was living in Abuja, after sending my personal things, my clothes, my shoes, my bags, my wigs, everything that I needed, my own personal things, after sending it, I had to waybill it, to Mr. Husband's place first. Even though I was not going there yet, but I have to waybill it because I need to move my things to my hometown. So after waybilling those things, sending those things to his own place, and then giving out the things I needed to give out, because I gave out almost all my kitchen things. I don't think I left with my kitchen things. I gave us, yeah, not some, most of my kitchen things and everything. Excuse me. After doing all of those things, I still needed a 10-seater bus to convey my things from Abuja to my hometown. Now, this is God answering my prayers, but I did not realize it because I had a bigger picture in my head that I needed God to do for me. Do you understand? So sometimes it is very, very tricky, but you have to strike a balance. You have to sometimes pause and realize that this thing that is happening in my life, God is the one doing it, not me. Ungratefulness, impatience, complaints, arrogance, they are some of the things that makes us to forget that God has actually answered our prayers, but we did not realize it. So as Christians, no matter how little it is, be grateful. No matter how small it is, remember the days you prayed. Remember the days you fasted for that particular thing, and show gratitude to God so that He will do more for you. Trust me, the heart of gratitude never lack. To round up this particular video, I would say do not be a fair weather child of God. Don't appreciate, even when God has not even done anything for you. Trust me, God has done a lot. In your head, you might feel like God has not done anything for you, but trust me, God has done a lot for you. The fact that you even slept and woke up, there is one miracle that we trivialize a lot. You see the miracle of sleeping and waking up, the miracle of leaving your house in the morning and coming back home safely. Those miracles are huge miracles that sometimes you trivialize. So if anytime you want to think that God has not answered your prayers, think about the life you have. Think about the safe journeys. Think about the food. Think about the free air. You want to go to the hospital to see how much they are paying for oxygen just to breathe, something you are getting for free. Or you want to see how they are passing water and food into somebody's body with pipe and all that. So you are eating at will, passing urine at will, and all those things, and you still feel God has not done enough for you. My pastor said something in church, I think today. He said, at this point of his life, if God decides to stop doing anything for him, if God decides that, okay, I've helped you enough, I want to stop, he cannot thank God enough for the things he has done for him. So anytime you want to feel that God has not done anything for you, remember those little things, the gift of life, the gift of sleeping and waking up, safe journeys and everything, and appreciate God. Stop being a fair weather child of God that appreciates God only when you achieve that great miracle, that milestone that you are praying for, that you are wishing for. Stop being a fair weather child of God that only remembers when God follows your pattern, or when God does the things that you're fixing your eyes on. Thank God in season and out of season. I just hope this little word will bless somebody. All right, so I will see you on my next video. Please, if you've not subscribed to this channel, please endeavor to like, subscribe, share, engage this video, and let God help all of us. Let's grow together on this channel. I love you guys. I love you again and again and again and again. I'll see you on my next video. Until then, stay blessed, stay fabulous, and stay fantastic. Bye bye.